Yes, sir. Officially, prep started yesterday. So, yep.
What's up guys and welcome. You are watching Fazi Fitness. So let's start this video with Andrew Jacked as the official Arnold competitors list. That is gonna be announced this coming Friday. And we all know that Samson Dauda and Andrew Jacked, they are gonna be the two guys battling it out for this upcoming Arnold title and also $500,000. So this is a clip from Andrew's recent YouTube video and just the overall emotion of Andrew. That gives you a vibe that he was really disappointed about not presenting his best ever at this past Miss Olympia, because that is what all the bodybuilding world was hoping for.
This prep, I want to do something good. Really good.
Now he wants to make it up for that by showing up looking super animated at this upcoming Arnold. So how many of you guys agree that if it was the same Andrew that we saw at this year's Texas Pro, if he showed up at this year's Miss Olympia, he would have placed higher than 5th, maybe as high as 3rd. Now Andrew is pretty clear in his mind that he is no longer trying to play the size game, and he just isn't gonna do that ever again. Not even against Samson Dauda, because if Andrew is on, when he is truly on, he has more X-frame, more V-taper than every other bodybuilder in the men's open bodybuilding, including the reigning champion, Samson Dauda. Now Andrew and Samson have the most potential of winning the Olympia and the Arnold, based on their structures alone. So will this upcoming year be finally the one where Andrew puts it all together and solidifies himself as the biggest threat to Samson's Olympia title? And what did you guys think about this upcoming Arnold? Can Andrew Jack really challenge Samson Dauda for the win here?
Could I? Absolutely. Would I win? That's in the eyes of the freaking judges. But I mean, if the perfect scenario came as far as like recovery and all that, and just my eagerness to do it, yeah, I could compete and win a show. But yeah, I'm not doing that. I'm not gonna be doing that.
So that was one of the few times the 7 times Miss Olympia Heath has spoken about getting back on the stage, maybe for the Masters Olympia. And he gives a very logical reasoning on why he probably will never step on the stage ever again, even though he totally can. Because if Heath can look that good with just a few days of training per week and eating as little as 3 meals a day, imagine him going back to a full-blown cycle and eating 6 meals a day with the kind of godly genetics that Heath has. He's gonna be all 3D in no time. But at what cost? He's gonna put his health at risk. As you guys all know, he will soon gonna be turning 45, and Phil had a very long and one of the most successful pro career in the entire bodybuilding history. So for those of you guys who do not know, his pro career, that has stretched over 14 years. And although Phil did just one show for most part of his entire career, especially after winning his first ever Miss Olympia, but he worked really hard to deny all these guys, all these amazing bodybuilders like Kai Green, Sean Roden, Big Ramy, and so many others, a send-off for 7 straight years.
Have I thought about it? Of course, I've thought about it. But that's a lot of other things that come into play with that. A lot of other things that I would have to sacrifice to even participate in doing something like that. Would it be easy? Probably, to be fair. Easy to compete at it. I mean, but to win and do what I would want to do, that requires a lot of work, a lot of intention. And anyone that knows me knows that I don't play around when it comes to competition. So, because I'm a highly competitive person. So, yes, I've thought about it numerous times.
And there is a reason why it's called the Dream Killer. So I do not really think there is any amount of money that is gonna convince Phil Heath to take that risk and step on the stage one last time as a 7 times Olympia champion of the world. So the kids and all the bodybuilding community in general, they should be very thankful that a Miss Olympia champion is openly giving advice to the younger generation not to use trend. And this isn't the first time Phil Heath has spoken about this. His opinion carries a lot of weight, and this certainly is going to impact the choices that many people make when they go that route.
Hopefully it's not the TREN word, because that's not good. But yeah, what you can do, A plethora of things. Making sure you get your blood work done, seeing how bad or good it really is, and then just seeing from that blood work what you need to focus on. Um, checking your levels is always very important. Getting IVs done is very important, and understanding that antioxidants such as glutathione are very, very important.
So Heath has already cemented his legacy as one of the greatest ever to walk on the bodybuilding stage, and there is really nothing left for him to make this comeback and not look as impressive as he used to back in his prime. So one thing you cannot deny, from Ronnie Coleman to Flex Lewis to Heath, every one of these guys, they miss competing, and they have all spoken about this.
Absolutely, I definitely miss it quite often, but there's some things I don't miss as well. And yeah, but the stage to get ready for a show, the place mentally that I would go, it was good and bad, but it produced a hell of a result. But yeah, I do miss competing. I can't lie.
Now let's talk about a retired German bodybuilding legend who actually might be interested in doing the Masters Olympia next year. And I am talking about none other than the big bad wolf, Dennis Wolf, who revealed a very ripped physique. And this is him after dropping more than 40 pounds of muscle. Now as far as the question of doing the Masters Olympia is concerned, he can certainly do that show as he is now 46 years old. And maybe that is a great way for Dennis Wolf to retire on his own terms, because it was a neck injury that happened to him towards the end of 2015 that limited his career and that actually forced him to retire. Now he did try to make a comeback in 2018 and he did the Arnold that year, but he was only a shadow of his former self. So his career was really cut, actually really short. And as per his own words, that was the darkest phase of his life, because all of these top bodybuilders, they just confined themselves to a box, to living that same lifestyle day in and day out, over and over again. Just eating, training, sleeping, and then repeat. And they take a lot of pride in that. So anytime an unexpected scenario occurs, it is always so shocking, especially for the athlete, because there is nothing else to do. And that is exactly what happened to Dennis Wolf back in 2015. The guy was one of the top 4 Olympia guys in that year. And it was a forced retirement in 2018. Because at that point he just knew he will never be the same again as he was in his prime. So will he consider doing the Masters Olympia? Well, no chance, as Wolf is very happy with his current size and the shape that he's carrying. And he is below 212 pounds for the very first time in many years. And the man looks so healthy and so athletic. The fight for the Classic Physique Olympia title next year, that is gonna be the one to remember, because this really happens, especially at the pro bodybuilding level, when there isn't a returning champion. And with Chris Bumstead putting a full stop to his bodybuilding career, the title is finally up for grabs. And guess what? Urs Kalashynski finally took the advice of Chris Bumstead. And this was actually the advice that CBum gave Urs and Ramon as well 3 years back, that if he was in their shoes, he would take the entire year off and just focus on one show, the Olympia, and try to win the biggest show on the earth. And Urs Kalashynski in his recent YouTube video just confirmed that this is gonna be his first real off-season in more than 3 years with his coach Stefan. And that simply means he will be skipping this upcoming Arnold next year after competing in that show for 3 straight years.
And now it's time again, as a long off-season is coming up, as some of you know, to really get the most out of it. I think the last off-season with Stefan was 3.5 years ago or 4 years ago.
Now keep in mind, a top 3 placing at this past Miss Olympia, that allowed Urs to get his automatic qualification for next year. And I guess this will be like the year 1998 Miss Olympia, when Dorian Yates retired after winning his 6th Sandow in a row. And everyone just leveled up their game, because everybody knew the crown was empty and it was up for grabs. And Ronnie Coleman just came out of nowhere and he won the Olympia. So Ramondino also announced that he will only be competing in one show next year, and that is gonna be Miss Olympia. Now Urs in particular, he is gonna be one of the favorites to win that title next year. I mean, just look at the extent of improvements that Urs was able to make after the Arnold this year to the Olympia this year in such a short time span, and with a weight cap hanging over his head. He was able to bring up his back and his arms, and that too in such a short duration. So he just killed the theory, where most of us believed that he cannot bring up the weak areas because he is just so restricted with his weight cap. And he just proved everyone wrong. So the fans are gonna have to wait a long time to see these amazing athletes back on the stage next time. But I believe it is gonna be well worth it. But do let me know what you guys think about this decision of Orskalashilsky. And also hit the thumbs up button if you liked the video. And smash the subscribe button if you wanna come back for more. Thanks for watching.